Hey, I'm Pascal from Orangepixel and I'm currently wrapping up Residual, a game I've been working on for almost a year.
Hey, listen up. I noticed we are about to release our next game, Residual. Just wanted to make sure.
Wow, so
not
a year into the game
features
project, you decide to show up and do some
up
actual work.
The work that needs to be done.
I can actually see the controller in your...
But research. I'm researching new game ideas. Anyway, I just want to make sure we're on the same page. I talked to the publisher.
You can't mention the publisher's name yet. Not yet. You can't mention their names either because that might...
Look, don't make this harder than it is. We need to wrap up the work. So make sure no more big features.
Yeah, I got it. It's pretty much what I decided on before you came in here, like weeks ago.
Good. Right. That's it. Yeah, I'm gonna go do some more research.
Enjoy yourself doing your research. No big features. Got it. That doesn't mean we can't add tiny features, right? So let's talk about those tiny features after the intro, without this guy, because I don't really know what he's doing in this company. I have no idea. I can't fire him, but wish I could, but I can't. That would be weird. Not that. Anyway, after the intro, we're gonna be talking about tiny features. This has been my view for most of the last couple of weeks and probably the coming weeks as well. This is Mantis, which is a bug tracking software used by the guys testing Residual right now. And I'm just watching it all day long to see which new bugs are being added. So they pretty much write down everything they run into that feels like it's a bug. And in most cases, like 9 out of 10 cases, it actually is a bug or needs fixing. And what they then do is simply write down how they got there, what steps to do to replicate it, and they usually include a video showing me the thing happening. Not everything is a bug, but if it is a bug, there's a lot of detail here, and this is pretty much what I always ask a player if they run into a bug, and then you have to ask all these things and they usually haven't written it down or anything, or they didn't make a video, and all this information actually makes it a lot easier to track those bugs. And in some cases they will attach the save game file, which is a exact copy of their situation, so I can then load in that save game and then I can debug the code to figure out why it's doing what it's doing. But my main task, besides fixing those bugs, make sure I don't add new bugs. So I called a feature stop on the game on myself last week. No more big features, no game-changing things, but there are of course a couple of small things that I could still do. So I've been working on small things that will most likely not introduce any new bug. So still a lot of stuff I can do that's pretty safe code-wise, and let me just show you a few of those things that I have been doing that are tiny features, no big features. So I fully redesigned the whole Residex screen. This screen was kind of ugly. It didn't have all the information I wanted. So I added an extra layer on top of that database screen that now shows you the species. So there are different species, and you can scroll through those species. It will show you an example. It will show you what type of species it is. Is it omnivorous? Is it carnivores or herbivores? Their speed of walking. Are they active in the night or in the day? And here you can see how many of these species you have unlocked. So we unlocked 11 of the Utangi. Then we enter into the Utangi, and here we can scroll through these creatures. There are 11 Utangi, so just scroll through them and then you can see where you found them. This is old data, so it doesn't record where. This is a new discovery and it now records where you actually found it. So that's been a huge improvement to the screen. And the main reason I did that because we are now close to 3,000 different creatures that can be created. The game creates these creatures based on bodies, heads and tails and sticks them together like a pin the donkey type of thing. So there are about 3,000 different creatures possible. And the old interface would have you go through every creature you identified. Let's say you are very good at it and you found a lot of creatures, like 1,000. You would have to go through them one by one. Nobody was gonna do that. It was a terrible system. I never liked it, but we also needed something to show from this in the trailer. So I just completely redesigned this screen. The upside of it is there can't be many bugs created because this screen is really separate. It just pulls out the data from the game and then shows it in a way that's presentable. So the only bugs I could introduce with all this work was pretty much in just this screen. So much better interface now, I'm much happier with it. It's just a little extra on the game. It's not really that important, but people that really go into the game and really go far into the game, they will enjoy this, and I also enjoy it now, and the last screen I did not enjoy. So besides the whole Residex, we also added some extra heads and we added some extra bodies. That just increases the total amount of creatures we have right now. Dylan, the intern, made a couple of bodies just yesterday. Just some different variations on existing creatures. And then he added a bunch of little heads to the game. And even though I like the way this neck was looking, it doesn't really work in the game code. So that's just something I had to do a little tweak in and make this a rounder frog-like head. But just having a couple of new heads and bodies and tails increases the amount of creatures by, I think we doubled it in just a couple of minutes work. So pretty cool. Now there's also a name added to these creatures, and this is a Stegagora, and this is a Goragora, a Sheep Gora, and those creature names come from a combination of their head, their body and tail name. So we just literally combine those things the same way we also combine their body parts. So something with a Bronto head on a Yutang body would be a Bronto Yutang, and if it has a certain tail, it would be a Lizard Tail Bronto Yutang, which is pretty simple, but at least now we have some names to all these creatures, which makes the database a lot more interesting. So this is just my way to sneaky still add some new stuff to the game and still work on it. And my head still has a bunch of ideas, and that's just great because that means we will be able to do an update at some point if the game does really well. There's just a lot of content we can keep adding to the game, just a lot. The list I have on my PC in my Trello of things and ideas, it just keeps growing, and the game is feature complete, big feature complete at least. But there's still a lot of room of stuff that I would like to add to this whole universe, and let's hope we get the chance to do that. One other feature that was still on my to-do list was achievements. So these are all the icons. Adding achievement is pretty simple. You just have to come up with interesting achievements. Creating the images is the hard part of it, and then you just have to add a couple of lines of code to the game to unlock them if certain criteria are met. So right now I'm at 8 achievements done and added. There's still a couple of ideas I have for more, and I really want to push towards 20 achievements at least. So this is still a feature that I can work on and keep myself busy. Another very simple addition to the game is a new type of trees. I had about 3 or 4 different type of trees and the bushes on top of those trees. A very simple way to add extra are just drawing them. So I added these 2 as new. And I'm probably going to add a couple more, and maybe I'll also change how the tree branch looks. Just very simple changes, and it just requires increasing one little number in the code. And I'm pretty sure that's not going to create any bugs. One other thing I've been adding, and that's these devices that you will find everywhere and around. There are different type of devices with different content, but they were very static. So now you actually see that they're overgrown with branches and they need some chopping. So the axe, which has been in the game from I think week 2 or 3 of development, which is only used for chopping trees and very rarely used, now actually gets to make a lot more sense. You can now craft these axes because they break every now and then you can chop this device if you get everything out of the way, chop it until the branches give in, and then you can actually activate that device. So there's a little extra step now involved. It's not a huge gameplay feature or tweak, but it does give you a little extra stuff to do, which is always a good thing, and it also gives more purpose to having an axe. So there's still a lot of little things I've been doing on the game. I just have to make sure that nothing introduces new bugs, and everything I add now gets checked, double checked, triple checked before I leave it as it is. So usually I just add a bunch of these things if I'm in the middle of game development, and I know I'll be running into this for like the next few months, but now everything has to work and not break anything anywhere else. So if something feels like too much of a task or too much of a risk, then I'm not adding it, I'm pushing it to a to-do list of ideas. But for now, these are just small and tiny things that keep me busy while I wait for new bug reports to come in from the guys testing the game. And luckily, there's less and less bugs coming in, so I'm really, of course, if you're releasing a game, every game, any game, doesn't matter who made it, there are always bugs in there. I can't stress this enough. Players will find something that none of us, and there's now a lot of people who have played this game, it doesn't matter. Somebody out there, maybe you, will find a bug in this game that nobody thought about, could or tried or combined certain events, and then you run into something that just happens. That's how it works, sadly, but I'm very confident that most of those things are fixed, solved, and most players will have a very smooth experience playing the game. And just yesterday, the first tester actually managed to take off and lift off from the planet. So we went through all the missions, crashing a ship and then fixing a ship and all the other missions, and went through the whole planet almost, and he managed to lift off. So pretty exciting. On top of that, I also saw Residual running in Russian language. No idea if it was correct, because I don't speak Russian or don't read Russian. I have no idea, but it looked very much like Russian language. So very good, and translations are coming along. I should actually finish the Dutch version because I've added a bunch of new text to the game. I need to translate those ASAP. And there will be a lot of other languages. German, Italian, French, Russian, a bunch of languages. Alright, and let's wrap up this video reading some comments on last week's video, which was showing the dioramas, the creation of that for the credit screen and a bunch of other stuff. So let's just see. We got nothing like developing your own game while watching your favorite dev make his. That's me, right? Thanks. Didn't know you had a favorite dev, but I'm glad I'm it. Comment on contributors, an epic project that fires the imagination strongly with people support it. Yeah, very true, and it's just been crazy the amount of people that come to me based on Residual, but also the YouTube channel, and I never had that with any of my previous games, so I'm not sure if this is because my channel is growing or this game is just speaking to imagination more, but something's happening and I'm very happy with it. In only a little over a year, you've managed to make a game such as Residual. Great work as always, can't wait to purchase my copy. Thanks, yeah, it's been a crazy year, and the amount of content in this game is a lot, and a lot of that is thanks to the procedural generation happening, because that just takes care of so much stuff, and just now having about 3,000 creatures in the game, which are mostly generated by the computer. I might never go back to doing it in another way, because this just adds so much content, and besides that, it's also just been a rush working on it. Every day is just a lot of fun, diving into this whole universe I created and just having a lot of fun in there, working on it. And sometimes at the end of the day, because I have my own little rule where I try to not work in the evenings, just so that I can actually calm down a little bit, because working on it can really get you rushed up in your head, and I need some good night's sleep every now and then. So sometimes it's very hard because I have all these ideas and I might be watching a movie or TV show, but my head is working on the game and thinking, oh, I could do this and that, and if I work on that tomorrow, then it's just been a lot of fun. Wow, the credits look amazing, almost there. Yes, almost there, and the credits do look amazing. I still want to create a couple of more dioramas because they're just a lot of fun to create. Those dioramas will look great in hoodies, t-shirts and displays. That might actually be an idea. I have a lot of them already, so one of those dioramas on a t-shirt could actually very well work. Maybe something very exclusive, like I'll put it online for just a couple of weeks and only you can get it within that time, and we won't tell anybody else, the Discord channel and you guys, and that's it. After a couple of weeks it will be gone. That would be very exclusive. Maybe that's a fun idea to do. I'm just thinking out loud. Dioramas look awesome, dude. Yeah, a lot of people have talked to me about the dioramas, also the creation process. I'm glad you guys like it. 40 devlogs, wow, fingers crossed. Yeah, 40 devlogs, this must be the biggest series on this channel. Let's see what we can push the next game to. Or just maybe push it in like 10 devlogs and here's a new game. The dioramas look slick, really looking forward to this game. Everybody loved the dioramas, and it's just a little tiny feature in the credits. So this looks like it's by far your best game. Very excited for launch. I agree, and I'm also very excited for the launch. This is shaping up to be your magnum opus. It's so exciting. Any plans for the time between this time when you hand it off for porting and when ports are done? Well-earned vacation. There's one plan and it's waiting for me at the PlayStation 4. It's The Last of Us Part 2. I really want to dive into that game. So one more week, maybe 2, working on the game. Then I'm handing it off and then I'll try to just play The Last of Us for a week or something like that. The other plans, I have some ideas for the next game. So, pretty soon we're gonna talk about that on this channel, which will be very refreshing, talking about a completely different new game. That's gonna be scary. The sprite sheets seem a lot larger than before. Not sure which sprites. You mean the tile sets? There are extra tiles that weren't in the contest because I create those for every planet. So if you mean those, then yeah, there are more tiles that you guys who did the contest didn't have to work on. I can help translate it to Brazilian, Portuguese. I have to check if those languages are covered or not, and maybe I'll poke you. Don't know. This game is beautiful in the pixels. Yeah, it's very beautiful in all the pixels, and thank you for the comment, and that's also it for the comments. I need to start checking Mantis to see if there are new bugs, and I need to fix them because it's Friday and I need to push a new update. But when you're watching it's Thursday, so you have no idea what I'm talking about. Now you're just watching your calendar going, hey, it's not Friday, it's Thursday. Unless you're watching the video on Friday, a day after I upload it. Yeah, I'm gonna end this video now.